Okay, for the last one. Okay, so this right here is a little bit different. There's no point, and instead what you have is a diagram, right? So we all went over this over the summer. This is called the vertical line test. If you take your pencil and just slide it across this thing, right? When I slide it across, how many times is it touching this green parabola? One time right there, right? Move it over here. I'm sliding it across over here. How many times is it touching it? Once, right there. I move it over here. How many times is it touching it? Once, right there. If you're not sure, draw a line. If I draw a line right here, how many times is that purple line touching the graph? Once. If I draw another line as I'm sliding across, how many times does the purple line touch the green graph? Once. Okay, if I draw it a little bit further, how many times is that touching the green graph? Once. So if you look at this right here, X is not repeating. Do you see that? It's not repeating because it only touches it once, right? On the other hand, if I have a graph that looks like this, how many times is it touching this vertical line? Really? Twice. That means X equals, let's say it's 4, and X is also equal to 4 there. Do you see that? Let's say we have something that looks like this. If I draw a line, how many times is it touching? Once. So far you're like, oh, it's a function. But then when you draw a second line, because it has to be a vertical line, it has to keep going, right? How many times is it touching? 3 times. So that's saying X is equal, let's say it's -2. X equals -2. X equals -2. Do you see how it is repeating? If it is repeating, is it a function? No. Okay, so because when we're doing the vertical line test, I'm going to draw a bunch of lines here. Each of the purple line only touches the green graph once, right? It's not like the circle or the S where it touches it more than once, right? So is it a function? Yeah, because the X value what? Doesn't repeat, right? All right, so hint, on domain and range, you can't list all the points, but you need to describe what values the first and second element can take on. Domain, well, if you look at it, the domain is the X values can equal anything that's negative infinity to positive infinity, right? As this green graph keeps on going further and further up, do you see how it keeps on moving to the left? So it's negative infinity. And as this right graph keeps expanding to the right, it's now positive infinity, right? Range is the Y value. How far does the graph go? Where does it start? Does it keep going down or does it eventually stop? Where does it stop? What number is that? 3. Positive or negative? Negative. It's included because it's a closed circle. Do you see that? Yeah. So you want to use a bracket. Okay? And then when it goes up, does it keep going up or does it eventually stop? So then it's the positive infinity. And the positive infinity is going to be parentheses because you can't definitively say that positive infinity is like 100,000 or it's 2 million, right? It's positive infinity, keeps going. So it has to be parentheses. So that is your answer. And that concludes everything then. Yes?